What I've been up to be honest, not a hell of a lot. The first day I got here, it was pretty much no one was here. So I came in, my door was unlocked. I rocked up in here and chucked my gear in and just laid on a bed. Realised there's no AC in this room, so I just hit the fan. Just blow against my face and I just slept for like 3 or 4 hours until everyone kind of came in. But I think I only met one guy that night, well 2 guys. One was Crew Joe, and he didn't really talk too much, he just kind of pointed me back to the room, goes, "This is your room." I'm like, okay, and he's like, "Dinner's at 7. I'm like, cool. Went out at 7 o'clock, no one was there. But that's when I met Nick. Nick's an Aussie kid, he's 18. He's a really good fighter. I think he had like 5 fights here in Thailand already, maybe 3. Yeah, he like took me on a scooter and went and ate some food just like down the road. It's getting pretty hot in here, isn't it? The weather here so far, it's rainy season, so expect to see we're getting a lot of rain. It's still really humid though. And how's the training going? The training it's very technical here. Crew Manok, who is the Muay Thai trainer for Sang Chai and Pao Korn, 2 of my favourite Muay Thai fighters, who play yours. He's just a legend, and he's just like, I thought I knew like a bit of Muay Thai, like the fundamentals, just basics. I know 0 Muay Thai. That's how much. But it's fine, because they don't beat you up for not knowing. They encourage you to, get it right. And they're really friendly and they joke around a lot, and I like that. I feel like I learn a lot more that way. We're just having fun. So a normal day training would consist of 15 minutes of skipping, and then I think maybe 3 or 4, I wouldn't say rounds, probably 10 minutes of shadow boxing. And at the whole time, everything's getting corrected. Everything from my skipping all the way to how I'm shadow boxing. I thought shadow boxing used to be just like warming up, right? No, you'll get criticised for how you shadow box, and everything has to be beautiful, and that's great. It's awesome. And then after that, I think it's 3 or 5 rounds on the bag. I think 3 rounds on the bag. They're a bit lenient here, I think, but you still get judged a little bit more on how to throw things. Hopefully I'll get some video footage of either myself training or others training. I'm only doing mornings because I'm pretty old and my body is getting wrecked right now. Speaking of, so I know eventually I have to use Tiger Balm, and I was kicking pads with Crew Manok, and then I think it was the 3rd kick I threw throughout the whole session, and I just felt my ankle, my Achilles just go like pop, and I was just like, fuck, not like this, not again. Probably don't know, but my ankle has been sore for a very long time, and the pain comes back and forth. It's like a very old injury, a real stupid injury actually. Like I regret what I did. It was when I was a bit younger. When I was a kid, I was with my friend. We were drunk, and he decided to jump on top of a car and then jump off, right? So me being drunk as well, I followed him, did the same thing, and when I landed, my ankle just went pop. And I never saw a doctor. I kind of just let it heal on its own. I remember that was just really painful, and it's just, I don't know, it just come back to haunt me. Back again. So as you can tell, I'm just smashing down water. This is how I filled this up this morning, and this is how much I've drunk already, and that's how much I go through in training. So as you guys know, that you can't drink out of the tap here, so you have to buy your own water. Best thing to do is buy one of those big 5-litre jug of water and just, hopefully last for 3 or 4 days. It's good to stay hydrated because it's really hot around here, especially when you're training as well. So after the pad session, so they get you to do more bag work, but this time you take off your gloves and it's all just clinching on a bag, and it's just, I think it's like 2 knees on the same side, stand by, so reset, neutral position, and then 2 knees on the other side. You do that for 50 times, and then you do this other one, there's like outside leg coming in, so your head's kind of against the bag, and then you bring your outside leg, and that's another 50 times, and then it's just these teeps. I think Krumanop has some of the best teeps in the world. I know I'm a bit biased towards that, and I know I haven't actually learnt other teeps from other Muay Thai fighters, but it's just a very nice way of throwing a teep. It's not over exaggerated. And it does the job. It's just this very nice, basic, yet very efficient teep. And you really send, if you get it right, you really send the person flying. Apart from that, I get really hungry around here. And what they don't tell you around here is that, a lot of fighters, their diet is very, it's a bit interesting, right? So I think these people only eat 2 times a day. The meals aren't that big around here either. And then again, I guess most Muay Thai fighters you see, they're very lean, right? I don't want to lose any more muscle mass. I'm assuming I probably eventually will lose a lot more though, just due to not eating as much around here. But I'm trying to change that. And just the type of training that we're doing. So yeah, I normally eat midday, and then I just go to sleep. And I've been doing that for like 4 days, just sleeping in the midday, because I'm just so tired after training. You just really need that rest. Whereas the other fighters around here, they have to train in the afternoon again. For me, I'm just like, I'll take a nap, and then I remember on the first day I just went and got some food instead of doing the afternoon class, because I only pay for the mornings anyway. Have a beer once in a while. What's really cool about this gym is that it's kind of like a family. So Krumanop and Crew Joe, they'll take us out. I've been at 2 Muay Thai fights back to back, because we have fighters from this gym that they were fighting that night, and this was on Monday and Tuesday night. Different stadiums. I wouldn't call them stadiums. When I think stadium, I think Westpac Stadium. These are kind of more like bars, I guess. Yeah, they look more like bars, and the setup is, it's your basic setup. And they try to. The majority of people that watch it tend to be, for tourists, which is fine, because that's where they get most of their money from. So I got to film a bit of that. It was a bit unfortunate that our teammate lost, but I don't think he's got anything to really be down about. Fighting, there's got to be a winner and there's got to be a loser, and both people agreed on the stipulations, right? You agreed to fight that weight, and that's what fighting is, and you've got to learn from that. As we were going back after that fight, I guess, as you would feel a bit down after losing, Crew, it was also the guy's birthday, and Krumanop blast out some happy birthday song on his speakers in his car, and I don't know, it was the best. I think Krumanop really knows how to cheer everyone up, and then after that we had KFC. The same thing on Tuesday, training is pretty much the same as usual. Of course, constantly correcting my posture. If I was going to throw a knee, You know, my shoulders, they can't be back, they have to be a neutral position. My standing leg has to be not hyperextended, but just straight. And my knee doesn't shoot up, it shoots through. I mean, these kind of stuff that our gym and most gyms around New Zealand, I'm pretty sure they teach. But I just feel like there's a strong emphasis on getting it right, you know, whereas sometimes I guess they'll show you something and then, okay, move on, you know, whereas here it's like, no, you gotta get it right, and then we'll move on kind of thing. Yeah, so I didn't do anything on Tuesday after that either, I just ate some food. Everyone loves to drink coffee around here, I've noticed. Chiang Mai apparently has a very big coffee culture scene here. There's a lot of hipsters and a lot of what you call digital nomads. Yeah, so on Tuesday night we went to a fight to watch a guy from Tiger Muay Thai in Chiang Mai. I think they've just recently opened. He was fighting and he had fought 2 weeks ago, and there was a scar on his head that was just barely healing up, and he was stepping in to fight this other jacked dude with a shitload of tattoos. Criminal was sitting next to me, right? And I was like, oh, why aren't you cornering? He's like, oh, because I've trained both these guys, so I can't, you know, I can't be biased. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then the Tiger Muay Thai guy, he didn't have anyone in his corner, so he just, Criminal was like, oh yeah, go grab 2 fighters from our gym, and then they weren't even expecting it, but they just jumped into the corner and started cornering him. So they got from Tiger Muay Thai. He did okay for 2 rounds, and then the 3rd round he had to look back again, but I think he got dropped by a right, hit him in the temple, and he just fell. Like he was just out of it for a long time. Opened up a scar on his head. It is a bit concerning how they set up fights around here. Like there's just an agreed weight, but no one really weighs in. And these fighters are fighting so currently. I mean, I think the guy from Tiger Muay Thai's got 400 fights already, but they're fighting like almost every 2 weeks. Actually, a guy from our gym, Crew Joe, fought twice in 1 week, which is crazy. It just seems like I would think that it's better to let the brain rest at least. But I mean, these guys got to make a living, or maybe they just really love to fight, and that's what they do, you know. So who am I to say? Yeah. So what I've been told about Thai fighters, I think it's kind of true. So, you know, you hear about these Thai fighters, you know, they love to drink, they love to smoke, you know, they like to gamble, and yeah, I've seen a bit of that. The guy from Tiger Muay Thai, when he lost his fight, there was no showers at all. He had to get changed right there. They just slapped the plaster over his head, and instead of going to like maybe a hospital or something, I guess they just said, oh, you're good to go. And we just walked straight outside. This is in the middle of Chiang Mai's, I guess, tourism part of town. And we went straight to 7-Eleven. He bought like 3 beers and bourbon, and he just sculled down half that bourbon. Meanwhile, still drinking his beer, and he hopped onto the back of the truck and then just left, went back home. And I was like, man, that is, it's just, well, it's a really surreal thing to see on a Tuesday night. But anyway, it's kind of cool. I know it's a pretty crazy experience. Yeah. Whereas Wednesday morning training. It's pretty much the same stuff they teach me, but they always introduce a little bit more. So Mondays and Tuesdays, most things we taught was reinforcing the same thing. But then on Wednesday, Criminal, it was explained to me the teep and how to parry the teeps and stuff. I also had a sparring session too, which is kind of fun. And you know, I wasn't expecting to spar here, but you know, it was okay. but you know, it wasn't intense, which is what I like. You know, I've heard mixed reviews of what people say sparring in Thailand is. It's supposed to be very relaxed and go 30%. And then I've heard other people like, no, that's not true, you know, like if you're a fighter, they go pretty hard on you. But, you know, me being a beginner, and I was also facing someone that hasn't had a fight yet. I guess it was, you know, it was okay. And Kriminop was there, and he was, like, if things got heated up a bit, you know, he'd go, no, stop, come back down to 30%. And that's cool, you know, I enjoyed that. I stayed relaxed. And that's what it was really about, you know. It's me being relaxed, trying to read the rhythm, and I don't know, just zone out, just throw what comes to your mind, you know. Don't try to overthink too much. That's kind of cool. But yeah, Wednesday, just slept all day. My ankle was hurting me, so I just slept, elevated it, had lunch, had lunch with Kriminop and Chris, and I was asking Kriminop, like, I heard like Muay Thai is changing, you know, there's the golden era that people keep talking about, like there's some kind of special thing about Muay Thai that seems to be, I guess, lost a bit more now. Like there's a certain style of Muay Thai that's not, how you'd say, encouraged to do. I think how Kriminop interpreted that was like, he is a Muay female fighter, right? Same as Sang Chai and Nong and Lam Son Wok. Probably butchered that name. Yeah, so these are these Muay female fighters, you know, which is beautiful Muay Thai, like trickery, and like they rarely ever get hit, and you know that's, I believe, probably the best way to fight. But of course I'd say that, right? And yeah, so, but yeah, now it's saying it's more Muay Khao. I think Muay Khao is more like elbows, knees, you know, come forward. I'm not too sure what the reason is for. Maybe it's more exciting, so more like tourist, and like it's more marketed towards the Westerners, maybe. The other thing they were saying is Muay Barat. I think it's Muay Barat. So it's a lot to do with like punching, like hard punches. You know, they say that Thais don't have hands, but believe me, Thais have hands. You know, they can hang with you. You know, so those Dutch kickboxers thinking like, oh yeah, like these Thais, they'll just get wrecked by the boxing, possibly, but you know, because they're more geared towards these K1 styles now, because these Muay Thai fighters in Thailand, they want to fight overseas, they want to fight in China, you know, for like, you know, WLF. Was it? I don't know if they're still there. So that was kind of cool to talk to Kriminop about that. It's cool because he goes through his Facebook or his Instagram sometimes, and he'd show us pictures of like his early days, like when he was a young kid. I asked him how many fights he had. I think he said 154 maybe. And this was from when he was a kid all the way through till the end of high school, because he said he stopped fighting after that. He just trained. He's also a university graduate, which was that's quite impressive. I don't know many Muay Thai fighters there are. Maybe Superbong Biachmek. Butchering these Thai names at the moment. Yeah, but I think he's also a university graduate as well. And I showed him a picture of my wife and my dog. And like, oh, you know, you're so lucky. And I was like, yeah, I know I'm lucky. So, yeah, right. And then just went to the market on Wednesday night. The crew just took us out. Crew Joe took us out. Yeah, so the Thai diet is, I would say, normally it's reasonably healthy. A lot of it's kind of like pho. They don't call it pho here. you know, like it's a noodle soup with like gai, which is chicken. So when you say you want to, oh yeah, by the way, pad thai, I'm sure it does not exist in Thailand. Pad thai is like a Western thing or something. Because every time I ask for pad thai, they're like, no pad thai. And I was like, okay, how about cow pad gai? And then they're like, oh yeah, cow pad gai. Or cow pad dong. Cow pad dong is seafood. Gai is chicken. So, you know, those are important words I'm trying to learn at the moment. Otherwise, we just end up at KFC again, eating like deep fried chicken and chips. And that just seems like the normal diet around here. But then when you look at Crew Joe and Crew Manop, and they're like super shredded. Crew Manop's like 50 something and he's ripped. And you're like, well, okay, I can't argue with those results, right? So, yeah, it's all good. And today's training, my ankle actually felt a lot better. I was pretty much doing the same thing. The skipping, I don't skip for 10 minutes, not 15. I just took breaks between. Like, I am really starting to feel it now. Like, the first thing I always feel after doing Muay Thai is my calves feel like they're so stiff, you know, like they're just squeezed into the rock. Like they're just cramped up so much, you know, so you got to roll those out, you got to stretch them out every day. And there's like no excuse, you got to do it. Did I learn anything new today? I did learn how to, when you throw a teep and the guy catches it, the best way for you to do it, there's two options. You can counter that. You can either push, push back, because they'll pull you back. So you can hop and then push with the ball of your feet, or you can just kind of hop and maybe kick out on the outside. So don't kick on the inside, kick on the outside kind of thing. And we had a very special guest here today. He was from Lampuni. He was one of the Lampuni fighters, and there's something very obvious about him. He's only got one hand, but you know, you can tell by just looking at him that he could really fuck you up, you know, kind of thing. And he's probably had a lot of fights. It's really cool, you know. Like I was struggling a lot with throwing knees, and he was like trying to say, oh, you know, to get more momentum, pull the arms down a bit, you know. Maybe don't do that in a fight, but to really understand how to get the knee to shoot forward and how to keep the standing leg, you know. I don't want to say hyperextended, but just keep it straight. And Kriminot also showed me today there's a knee. You throw a knee, but instead of it looks like you're going to go for a teep, but then the knee shoots down. So it's almost like a little pause and then drop, and then I don't know. I guess you go for like a floating rib or something. And yeah, I got to throw a few kicks today. My switch kick, well, no complaints there, you know, good switch kick. Maybe I tend to, when I switch, I take too much of a big step. You don't really have to, just make it small. And that's one a lot of things that I've noticed about the way they teach here. It's like, you get everything seems very, you don't want to over-exaggerate everything, you know, or towels. Like you throw the right, you don't want to draw your shoulder back. You know, people don't see that. You just want to, boom, throw it. So everything's about efficiency and effectiveness. And yeah, you don't need to be fancy. You don't need to wind up for power and stuff. A lot of it, you can just, if you have the proper technique, that will give you the effective strike that you needed to give, if that makes sense. So at the moment I'm going to grab some food and probably some snacks. If they want to go out for lunch, I might go out for lunch. And then hopefully maybe either check out a temple if it's not raining. But if it's raining, I'll just hang out here and go on my phone or read a book. And then, I don't know, maybe wait for the rain to stop. So whatever. It's fun. I miss you guys. Bye.